Okay, now about the hypogastric and splanchnic system. Okay, starting from this is the vertebral bodies. Okay, as we are dealing only with the abdomen and pelvis part. Okay, so we will talk only about this thing. Okay, uh, anterolateral to the vertebral bodies, there are these sympathetic trunks. Okay, which are uh, which are having a swellings. Okay, which are having swellings on either side of each vertebral body. Okay, these swellings are called as ganglia. Okay, and these are sympathetic chains. Now what happens from T5 to T9, these nerves they get together. Okay, and form the greater splanchnic nerves. Okay, and T10 and T11 they combine together and form lesser splanchnic nerve, and T12 it forms the least splanchnic nerves. Also, you should keep in mind that the thoracic, lumbar, and even the splanchnic, sacral splanchnic nerves, these are sympathetic. Okay, whereas the pelvic splanchnic nerves, which arise only from the S2, S3, S4 part of this sacral region, they form the pelvic splanchnic nerves, and the pelvic splanchnic nerves are parasympathetic. All other are sympathetic. Okay, now as I have told that greater splanchnic nerve, it arises from T5 to T9 ganglia, lesser splanchnic from T10 and T11, and least splanchnic from T12. Okay, the greater splanchnic nerve, it it travels and reaches the, what is this? What is this? This is celiac ganglion and celiac plexus. The greater splanchnic nerve, it travels and enters the celiac ganglion and plexus along the superior border. Okay, from the superior side it enters. Second is the lesser splanchnic arising from T10 and T11. It joins the aortic plexus. Okay, aortic plexus is basically intermesenteric plexus, that is between superior mesenteric and inferior mesenteric plexus. Okay, and third one is least splanchnic, that is T12. It also enters the renal plexus or the aortic plexus finally. Also sometimes this least splanchnic it joins the lesser splanchnic and enters the aortic plexus as a single nerve. Okay, so this was about the greater, lesser and least splanchnic, that is the thoracic splanchnic nerves. Okay, now this aortic plexus, it is continued below as the superior hypogastric plexus. You can say that this superior hypogastric plexus, it is a continuation of aortic plexus. Clear? This superior hypogastric plexus, it is present at the level of L5, just below the aortic, just below and front of the aortic bifurcation. Aortic bifurcation occurs at L4 level, and this is present at the level of L5. Okay, in front of aortic bifurcation, in front of, and slightly it is to the left. Okay, and also it is present in front of median sacral vessels, as median sacral vessels they pass behind this. Okay, and it is slightly to the left, so left common iliac vein is also somewhat posterior to it. So as I have told that this superior hypogastric plexus, it is a continuation of aortic plexus. Also it receives the fibers from this L3 and L4. One thing I forgot, this aortic plexus, it receives lesser splanchnic, least splanchnic, as well as L1 and L2. So you can say aortic plexus is receiving from T10 to L2. Okay, receiving fibers from T10 to L2, and this superior hypogastric plexus, it is a continuation of aortic plexus. Along with that, it receives fibers, sympathetic fibers from L3 and L4. This superior hypogastric plexus, it is mainly sympathetic, okay, but little parasympathetic component also enters in it after passing through the inferior hypogastric plexus. This question comes that superior hypogastric plexus is confusion is there that this superior hypogastric plexus is purely sympathetic or it is having a little parasympathetic component also. Although superior hypogastric plexus is purely sympathetic, but it receives some fibers from the pelvic splanchnic nerves which reach first the inferior hypogastric plexus, and from there they are continued into the superior hypogastric plexus. Is it clear? So this was about the superior hypogastric plexus. Rest of the detail I will tell later. Now what happens? This superior hypogastric plexus, it gives off branches, mainly the right and left hypogastric nerves, and joins the inferior hypogastric plexus. So you can say that this inferior hypogastric plexus, which is paired first of all and is situated just in front of internal iliac artery on both sides, okay, it is formed by hypogastric nerves here. Along with that, this pelvic splanchnic nerves which are parasympathetic, and this S1 component, that is sacral splanchnic. So this inferior hypogastric plexus, it is sympathetic as well as parasympathetic. It is receiving mainly sympathetic fibers from sacral splanchnic nerve plus hypogastric nerve, whereas the parasympathetic component, it is coming from nervi erigentis or the pelvic splanchnic nerves. So you should know that, I am revising this, that thoracic, lumbar and sacral splanchnic nerves, these are sympathetic, whereas the pelvic splanchnic component, also called as nervi erigentis, arising from S2, S3, S4 anterior rami, these are parasympathetic fibers. Okay, now the branches of superior hypogastric plexus, as I have told, it forms right and left hypogastric nerves, okay, which then join the inferior hypogastric plexus, and also it gives off branches to ureteric, testicular, ovarian, inferior mesenteric and common iliac plexus. So it supplies this bladder, urethra, uterus, although the supply of uterus is mainly from inferior hypogastric plexus, although it is from both, but inferior is main component. Okay, also fallopian tubes and vagina through the uterovaginal plexus, prostate, vas deferens, seminal vesicles, ureter, large intestine, testis, ovary, etc. In the large intestine, starting from distal 1/3 of transverse colon up to anal canal. Also these organs, these are supplied also by the inferior hypogastric plexus. Okay, but you should remember that all these components here, these are mainly sympathetically supplied by this superior hypogastric plexus. One more thing, you can remember it as, we had told that T10, T11 was forming lesser splanchnic and T12 was forming least splanchnic. Also L1, L2 was going to the aortic plexus. Okay, so all of them were coming finally to aortic plexus, which was continuing as superior hypogastric plexus, right? So we can say that this superior hypogastric plexus, it receives mainly sympathetic as well as visceral afferent pain fibers from the organs which are innervated by these fibers, okay, which are innervated by these segments. So in case of spasmodic dysmenorrhea, we do presacral neurectomy. You can remember it as, I forgot to tell one thing, that this superior hypogastric plexus, it is also called as presacral nerve, although it is a misnomer. Okay, so this presacral neuroectomy, it relieves the pain due to spasmodic dysmenorrhea. Okay, and it is mainly responsible for sympathetic supply of these organs. Okay, now the pelvic splanchnic nerves or the nervi erigentis, as I have told that it is parasympathetic and it enters the inferior hypogastric plexus, and some fibers reach to superior hypogastric plexus also after passing through inferior hypogastric plexus. So this pelvic splanchnic nerves, these are parasympathetic and gives visceromotor parasympathetic fibers to distal 1/3 transverse colon up to anal canal and also bladder wall. Okay, we had read that sympathetic supply was mainly by to these organs was mainly by your superior hypogastric plexus, but parasympathetic supply here is by these pelvic splanchnic nerves after passing through inferior hypogastric plexus. Also, this pelvic splanchnic nerves, it inhibits the vesical sphincter, because we know that the sympathetic fibers, they cause the contraction of this vesical sphincter so as to close the close the micturition process, stop micturition, whereas this parasympathetic supply, it causes the relaxation of the vesical sphincter, or you can say it inhibits the contraction of vesical sphincter. Also, these fibers, they give off vasodilator fibers to erectile tissues of penis and clitoris, testis, ovaries, uterine tubes and uterus, etc. Okay. Okay. Now inferior hypogastric plexus, as I have told, it is formed by both sympathetic and parasympathetic component, but it is also mainly sympathetic. Okay, and it lies anterior to internal iliac artery and posterior lateral to seminal vesicles, prostate and urinary bladder in males, and lateral to cervix, fornix and urinary bladder in females. Also, it extends into the broad ligament of uterus in females. This inferior hypogastric plexus, it gives origin to the pelvic plexus, which supplies the pelvic viscera either directly or through periarterial plexus. For example, in the ovary, it supplies vasodilator parasympathetic fibers via pelvic splanchnic nerves, that is S234. Also, it supplies the lower part of ureter, urinary bladder and seminal vesicles. And via uterovaginal plexus, it supplies the uterus, uterine tubes and vagina. In the anal canal, especially the internal anal sphincter, don't confuse when external anal sphincter question comes. You should know that external anal sphincter, it is somatic. So it will be supplied by pudendal nerve. Okay, and internal anal sphincter is visceral. So it will supplied by autonomic nervous system, which consists of sympathetic and parasympathetic. Sympathetic fibers here, sympathetic fibers supply is by L3, L4. Okay, via, you can say via both superior and inferior hypogastric plexus. Sorry. And it causes the contraction of sphincter, whereas parasympathetic, it relaxes the sphincter. Okay. And both are from inferior hypogastric plexus mainly, although the sympathetic supply is through superior hypogastric plexus also. Also, it supplies the rectum via middle rectal plexus, that is plexus around the middle rectal artery, which is a branch of anterior division of internal iliac artery. Apart from that, it supplies the prostate, vas deferens and seminal vesicles, penis, accessory sex glands, etc. Okay, so this was about the